The gliders were acting as a good screen against the missiles, relaying information back to the freighters so they had more time to react. They also stopped a lot of the new small and deadly fighters that the Amaral Navy had. The fighters were much better than the gliders at combat in space, but it didn't take much to destroy them if you could get a hold of them. You also couldn't be too close, or else, if you hit one of the antimatter missiles in their hold, you'd probably be going up with them. "Use the antimatter weapons!" Karain yelled. Strong made to stop her. After all, these weren't any simple weapons, and if someone saw them fighting with antimatter, then it would become a lot harder for Rimateus. But he had okayed the weapons as a fallback plan. The enemy had antimatter weapons anyway, so it didn't seem to matter. Strong, who had never seen so much antimatter being thrown around, had cold sweat on his back as antimatter missiles were fired from different freighters. The Amaral fleet erupted in fire as they entered the Leuton forces. RSDs moved through their formations as the battleships unleashed hell on those around them. Cannons on both sides blasted at one another. Missiles and their explosions rocked ships and the space itself. RSDs and gliders crossed one another in vicious dogfights, trying to get to the opposing forces where they unleashed their missiles up close and personal. LMFC Purge has massive power outages. LMFC Prize took a direct hit from antimatter rounds. LMFC Lawmaker took multiple hits to the bow. The rounds went deep into the ship. Communications are down and the ship is drifting. Direct hits on the Moby. Their hull was opened up. Target Alpha 3 was hit amidships. Damage unknown. The LMFC Righteous shook. Karain had to hold onto her seat and Strong onto the table as the lights flickered. "We've taken a nasty hit starboard side." Another series of hits shook the ship, making Karain go pale. LMFC Crusader and Atonement are accelerating away from the battlefield. The fighting left everything in chaos. Even with all of the reports, Strong knew that there was nothing that they could do as command staff. It was down to the people fighting on their ships to bring them victory or defeat. The freighters were getting hammered, but so was the Amaral fleet. "Charlie 9 just exploded," an excited voice yelled a moment later. One of the carriers had been hit, its weapons locker holding antimatter warheads for the RSDs being struck and taking out the ship. "Order LMFC Crusader and Atonement back into formation," Karain yelled. Her veins popped out along her neck. Suddenly, the chaos calmed down. As the Amaral fleet was accelerating through the Leuton fleet, the engagement lasted nearly 20 seconds. "They are not taking our hails," a communications officer said. The whole room was filled with conversations as people tried to get reports and up-to-date information on the conditions of the ships in the fleet. "If they don't return to the formation, then we'll fire on them," Karain spat. This seemed to chill the command center as Strong quickly moved to Karain's side. "We can't do that," Strong hissed in her ear. "They're betraying us and running for it," Karain shot back, keeping her voice just low enough so that the others couldn't hear them. Strong could clearly see how rattled she was right now. "We just went through a hellish battle. If we start killing our own people, then the Amaral fleet's job is done for them. We'll see if our operatives can't get control of the ships and punish those responsible," Strong said. This seemed to at least appease Karain as she gave Strong a terse nod. "Rescind my last order." Karain threw herself back into her seat. Strong hid his relief and moved to the command table, which was updating with the latest information regarding their force's strength and combat capability. It was a telling sight. 7 of the freighters were badly damaged. 3 were destroyed or effectively useless. When the Amaral fleet had come in and fired their broadsides, the rounds hit most of the ships in the bow, breaking them open and then forcing their way into the weaker and unarmored interiors. They were just freighters with containers, after all, so most of them had opened up, sending cargo containers everywhere and breaking the freighters apart into their components. The status of the Amaral fleet was unknown, but one of the ships had been destroyed outright, and the others looked to be heavily damaged. Strong didn't watch as people rushed to repair the ships and tried to get them functional again. He could feel the heavy atmosphere in the command center and across the fleet. This was supposed to be an easy fight, but the Amaral fleet that appeared out of nowhere had slapped them sideways without any effort at all.